Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking my videos, for leaving a comment in the comment section. I am so grateful and I'm so happy that you're here. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's free. Subscribe and let's fill this house up. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about my pregnancy journey as a sickle cell patient. And just to catch the new people up, we started with how I grew up, growing up as a sickle kid, and then we went on to marriage. And today we are talking about my pregnancy journey. Like, can you imagine we are even having kids? Yeah, so anyway, let's just get right into it. Yeah, so I have had a total of 5 pregnancies. And I have 2 children, yeah, and I'm so grateful for the children that I have. I am so proud of myself that I even did that I even went through all that. And this is a sad story, but with a happy ending, yeah. My happy ending is that I finally was able to be a mother, which was my end goal, yeah. So let's just get right into it. I was first pregnant in 2011. Uh, this was not with my husband. This was with a prior boyfriend I had before meeting Ben. And it was a tough time. First of all, it was my first ever pregnancy. I was trying to hide it from my family. And I just wasn't, I don't want to say I was embarrassed. I wasn't embarrassed. I was just not proud. I was not proud of myself because first of all, my aunt knew I was a responsible girl who was out here trying to make a life for myself, and here I was pregnant very early on in my life, actually. And in trying to hide all these things, I didn't know what pregnancy would mean for a sickler, yeah. And so we ended up always needing money and always just needing support, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I was running out of excuses in asking for money. I kept coming up with strange and weird excuses, but I was running out of them to ask for money so that I can keep up with my medication, keep up with the hospital visits, because when you're a sickler and you're pregnant, the hospital visits are much more than a normal woman's pregnancy. Yeah, so I was running out of money for all these things, and I just had to come out with it finally and just tell them, I messed up and this happened, and we are here. And my family is very supportive. Like I told you, they immediately took over. My boyfriend at the time was also not well enough financially, so we were both kids doing something that we had no business doing, yeah. And they took over for us. They started helping us wherever we needed help. They were there, which is a nice thing, but it was not as bad as a pregnancy health wise, yeah. Yes, I was in and out of hospital a few times, and my baby had issues, but health wise, compared to the others that I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't as bad, yeah. So I carried my baby to 9 months. Imagine, I carried her to 9 months, and on the night that I was supposed to deliver, I think I got a crisis, yeah. And they took me to some hospital in Langata, a mission hospital. I don't remember its name, but it's a common hospital in Langata. And they took me there, and these people, I don't know, I think they didn't have an idea on what they were doing, because first of all, they admitted me for a sickle cell crisis, which I thought I was in. I thought I was, because I was in pain. My whole body was painful, and I thought I was having a crisis, so that is what they admitted me for. And then I told them I am around my due date, and they were like, okay, but let's deal with your crisis first. Let's stable you up first, and then we can see what to do. So that is what they were trying to do, but my pain got intense, and then now it was just concentrated around my tummy. And I told them, and then they took me to this procedure room where they just kept putting their hands up my uterus to see what was going on. And they did that several times, and they just kept telling me the baby is not turned, we are just touching her legs or something like that. And then somehow, some way, they just decided, okay, let's just take her in for an emergency CS. And they did that, and I remember they put me out completely. They gave me the anesthesia where you just go to sleep. And when I woke up, it's like they were so ready to announce to me the news that I'd lost my child, because I just opened my eyes and they were like, oh, hi, your baby died. And I'm like, what are you saying? When did I even have the baby, Nini? And they're like, yeah, your baby died of exhaustion, and we're really sorry for your loss. Normally they do not have an explanation for that. I don't know if it was a quack hospital, but it is a really big hospital. I don't know what was going on. And they just told me she died, and it was like not even a big deal to them. And that was it with my baby. I finally got discharged. We went home, and I still remember my baby to this day. She was born on March 11th. I had picked out a name. She was gonna be called Kendall. Yeah, and I had clothes, I had stuff for her ready, but she wasn't there. She didn't come home with me. Yeah, so that was my first pregnancy. Then I got pregnancy in 2014, and this one was with my husband now. Yeah, so this one was for him, and from the get-go, like, that pregnancy was bad from the beginning. Yeah, I found out first when I had a crisis. I got a crisis, a really bad one. I was taken to hospital, and when they were doing all these tests, um, they found out, and the doctor came back and told me, I guess what even triggered your issue is that you're pregnant, and probably you didn't know, and so maybe you were not on antenatal medication and stuff like that. And I was so happy. I was like, oh yeah, really? Wow, that's so nice. So I was really happy, and they treated my crisis. I started my antenatal care, and all was well until I developed placenta previa. I just started bleeding, and I went to hospital, and they diagnosed me with placenta previa. And so this pregnancy was really, really delicate, because I was losing a lot of blood, and losing a lot of blood is not good for me. Yeah, so I had to be put in hospital. This was around 6 months. They put me back in hospital, and I was there for a month, because they needed to always monitor me and see if my HB goes under a certain level, or if the baby is in danger, or oh, and by the way, this pregnancy was a twin. It was a twin pregnancy. Yeah, so they really tried their best, and they discharged me a month later. Yeah, a month later we went home. I was fine. I was good. You people, when I tell you I was fine, I was really fine. The bleeding had really, really reduced, like, it was very minimal. And I was just put on bed rest, and that is what I did. Yeah. So 2 days later, after discharge, I got into the crisis of my life. I got really, really sick really fast. Yeah. And I was at home with my sister Vera and my cousin. My husband was already working for some club, so he wasn't home most nights. So he's working. I'm here, I'm with a crisis, and I'm pregnant with a very delicate one at that. And I'm home with my sister and my cousin. And so I call them, and I tell Vera, I really need to pee. I had this pressure in my stomach, like, really bad, like something was sitting on my this thing for pee, what is it called, pancreas. Something was sitting on that, and I'm like, Vera, I really need to pee. Can you just help me? Because I'm in crisis. My joints are aching all over. I can barely walk. So they helped me to the loo, and get into the loo, nothing is coming out. We sit there for a few minutes, and nothing is coming out, and no pee. All of a sudden the feeling is just gone. Yeah, so we come back, and we do this like 3-4 times, going and coming. So on the last time, I told Vera, okay, now, Aki, if it comes, just allow me to pee on my bed, because it seems that every time we get there, it's gone, and then when you get to bed, it comes again. So just let me pee on bed. And Vera was like, yeah, you're tired. If it comes, just pee here, we'll handle it. Yeah, so I felt that again, and this time it was really bad, like really, really bad. And I told Vera, okay, I'm just going to pee on myself. Akimunisamehe. It's not my fault. And then I thought I was gonna pee, and then something just blocked my vagina, and it was something really big. And I'm telling Vera, no, this is not pee. I think I'm pooping, but from the wrong side. Ati, what do you mean you're pooping? I'm not. My sister immediately was like, okay, turn around, lie on your stomach, let's see. So they took off my pajamas and my underpants, and my cousin is the one who was looking, and she's like, no, Lorraine, I think you're having your baby. I'm like, no, I can't be having my baby. He's only 7 months. They're only 7 months old. And like, yeah, this is a head. This, and before she even finished saying this is a head, like my baby just jumped out. And they were screaming. We were also scared. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Aki, please take care of him, cover him. We were just all over the place. The one who was crying, one who was trying to help was trying to help. I am here trying to make sure the one in my belly is still fine. So I'm trying to lie down very still. We didn't know what we were doing. So my sister is like, who has a car? Who can we call to come take us to the hospital? It is like past midnight, by the way. So it just hit us to call Auntie Winnie. Auntie Winnie is my aunt, one of my dad's sisters, who stays in Buruburu. We were living in Donholm at the moment, and so it was just a short drive to our place. So we called her, and we also called my sister-in-law Jane, who was a medical student at the time. Jane got there before my aunt, and she did all these medical things. She cut the umbilical cord. She checked on the baby, who was already dead by then. They covered him up, and then my aunt came, and she didn't know what she was walking into. As we just told her we need to go to the hospital, so of course she assumed I had gone into a crisis. Yeah, so she comes, and the first thing she sees is a body rolled out in this baby shawls, and she just starts crying. And she's the one who made me also, it hit me when she started crying. It also hit me, and I had just lost a child, and so we were all crying. But then I remembered, you people, let's go check on the one that is still in me. Let's make sure he's fine. Yeah, so she finally gets herself together. We drive like mad people to Kenyatta Hospital, and on getting there, we are taken in as an emergency case. And then they go, a nurse tries to check and listen for a heartbeat. And she's just over there really struggling. My Auntie Winnie is holding my hand, and the nurse is like, I can't hear anything. I can't find a heartbeat. And Winnie almost slaps her. Like, she's like, what? Can you check again? The rage that she had. And she's over there. She's also trying to keep me calm, but this woman is annoying her. And I'm like, just relax. If she can't find it, she can't find it. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah. And the doctor comes in, and he confirms the news that my boy is also gone. But, and then he says they're going to induce me, that there was no need to go put me through a CS when I wasn't going to get anything for it. Yeah, so he advises that they induce me, which they did. And I labored, you guys, I labored from the time we got into that hospital, which was now around 3 or 4 in the morning. I labored until the next day for almost 24 hours for just this little boy to come out. My little boy came out, and he was looking horrible. Like, he was, like burnt skin. Like, he was already rotting in my body. He was already rotting, and they told me that I'm sorry. They told me that he's probably the one who passed on first, and so maybe that's why the other one couldn't take it, and he forced his way out. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. I just couldn't understand why, like, I didn't understand it, but we went home and went on with life. The next year, 2015, I got pregnant again with my favorite boy, Imari, and he's here. He was premature. His lungs were a little underdeveloped. He came at 6.5 months. It was an emergency. That's why they had to get him out immediately. I was bleeding. I started bleeding at home. We rushed to the hospital. I had like little or very little blood left in me, and to even keep him alive, my doctor decided that let's just get him out to save your life, to save my life. They were actually saving my life when they got Imari out, but he survived. Yeah. And then when Imari was just around 1, either had turned 1 or before 1, 2016, around November, yeah, I started bleeding out of nowhere. And a lot of blood, not just a lot of blood. So my husband decided, I bled for 2 days. I bled one day, it finished, everything was back to normal, and then the next day it happened again, and my husband was like, no, let's go to the hospital, let's see what's going on here. So we went to Metropolitan, Buruburu, and the guy that was doing the sonogram, is it called a sonogram? The ultrasound. Yeah, the guy that was doing the ultrasound was like, oh, I think you are having a miscarriage. I see 2 sacs in your uterus and they're both empty. So we advised that we go immediately for a DNC, because if not, you'll keep bleeding. Yeah. Story of my life, right? So we went for a DNC. I don't know what a DNC means, guys. I just know it's where they clean your stomach after a miscarriage, just to get rid of anything that's not supposed to be there. So we went for a DNC in Kenyatta, and that was the most painful shit I've been through in my life. A DNC is painful. It was so painful. I was put there overnight just to monitor me and all that, but I was released the following day. And that was it. I didn't even know I was pregnant, and I was pregnant with twins again. And just when I found out, I was not also again. So that was the end of that one. And then in 2018, I got pregnant again and had my beautiful baby girl, Alani. And she was also a little girl. She was born at 1 kg, at 0 point something, almost 1 kg. She was so tiny because she was also an emergency. She came earlier. She was a bit more healthier than how Imari came. She was just underweight, yeah? She was just a bit underweight, but a bit healthier than Imari. And she was also in the incubator for 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, because we were there for like 22 days. Yeah, after her delivery, she was in the incubator for 22 days, sorry. And we came home, and they're here, they're happy, they're healthy children, and I am so grateful. Yeah, so if this doesn't do anything, I hope it encourages someone out there who's struggling to have children, who's struggling in any area of life. Like, in the end, it will be worth it. Yeah, it will be so worth it. You will be so happy with yourself. So please do not give up. Keep fighting. Keep fighting, because you know what you're fighting for. You know what you want in the end, and you will be happy regardless of how tough the journey was. So that's the end. And subscribe, like, and